Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. Hi, Jennifer. It's
Hey, how
Jennifer,
are
and
you?
we're
I
back. We are back.
know.
We are back. We
No.
are back. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for
I
joining
feel
us.
like I've been doing nothing but environmental coffee house lately.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Oh well, it looks like we're doing a little. Well, I saw the thing going around, but
It'll
I
get
guess we're
better.
okay. It'll get better. It's always gets better. So what's going
It'll
on,
get
Jen? And
better.
hi,
It'll tune in.
everybody. Up my audio a bit. Okay, somebody told me I gotta up my audio a bit. I was messing around today, guys.
Okay.
I learned some new tricks of the trade. So of course, when you do that, you got to change everything all over again. That's okay though. Today, guess what? We are talking about the sun. We are talking about solar. So Jennifer, would you like to say hi and lead us in and tell us what's
Yeah,
going on in the
absolutely.
world?
Hey, guys. I'm so glad that you joined us tonight. We're taking a deep dive into the world of solar power and some
Yeah, we sure are.
unexpected things that I didn't expect at all. And I'll tell you about that in just a minute. So, first, we're going to take a look at the Sahara. There are a lot of big solar farms that are being built in the Sahara, in particular in Morocco and Tunisia. So, this article that we're going to talk about first is from inverse.com, and it's scientists unearth a consequence of solar panels in the Sahara. A giant solar farm sounds perfect, right? Not quite. So, we're going to
Mm-mm.
take a look at albedo effects and things like that with those big black panels. And then we're going to run over to, I thought I had it.
We're going
I
to
guess
look
I
at the
don't.
research, and then we've got the climate, and you
Yeah.
sent me the science article, and we have the research
Yeah.
article from AGU Advancing Earth and Space Science. So we've got a full page. We've got
Yeah.
solar atlas, and we're going to have a good discussion tonight. And go
Yeah.
ahead,
Yeah.
Jennifer, if you want to
Yeah.
finish
I
up
just
where I.
couldn't find one of the articles, I
Yeah.
think, but I think it's okay.
All right.
So
That's
anyway, we're
good.
going to cover an article from sciencemag.org, also about solar. Climate model shows large-scale wind and solar farms in the Sahara increase rain and
Yeah.
vegetation.
This is pretty
That's a
wild.
direct feedback. Rain and vegetation is increased by these large solar farms. Unexpected. And
Mm-mm.
another one, there's a paper about this impacts of large scale Sahara solar farms on global climate and vegetation cover. So you can kind of see the theme here. I also, Sandy, took a look at two of the links within these articles.
Okay.
One is about the Morocco and one is
Mm-hmm.
about Tunisia. So I just have those
Oops.
up about things that are happening in Morocco and Tunisia. In terms of solar. So
Yeah,
that's
pretty
about it,
wild.
Sandy. Oh my
Cool.
God.
Well, we have enough to talk about. I mean, the first article is pretty heavy. It is that's what I found in Inverse magazine, and it kind of got me out on this whole thing, Jennifer. Looking at this because, quite
Right.
frankly, I hate solar farms, and I hope I'm not too loud. I hate solar farms because they take up all the room, and we just had a huge solar farm controversy where I live. Of course, they like to
Oh,
put these
really?
solar farms. Oh yeah, they like to put them out here in the middle of nowhere, and it would go. It's gonna go. It's gonna go all through Amish country,
Oh,
and it's
man.
going to be the windmills. Oh no, this is not. There's a solar farm and then there's a windmill farm. There's two of them. I get mixed up between the two of them. The controversy was the windmills. The controversy was the solar farm because of the tax breaks. And then when I read about it, it said we're going to get $18,000 for I think every certain amount of measurement kilowatt. I
Oh,
might
yeah.
have it pulled up, but that's not. It doesn't seem like the whole tax thing is ridiculous. Just pay taxes. You pay taxes like everybody else, but they get all the breaks. So yeah, it's not
Yeah.
about the money, honey, because they'll take away. It's about really all these acreages, the acres that they're taking away, and well, you'll see in this little video I made that well, my creativity is I'm working
Your
overtime.
creativity is amazing. You
It's not. It's just
continually amaze me. No,
yeah.
you
I can.
do.
Well,
You do.
okay. You know what? I run away from pain, and when I learn how to do stuff, it's really because I'm scared to death I have to get a job. But you know what? I got to tell you, Jennifer, no, really, I can't even sit. I do this shit. You know how I do it. But I was looking at videographer jobs and all that stuff. And you know what? You have to friggin' have almost a master's degree. You have to
Oh
have
wow.
certification in all of the programs. And just learning this crap by myself, it's not like, it's not going to reap rewards other than my own satisfaction that hey, I can do it, you know. And and you're still in the workforce, so you're doing amazing stuff there. Am I
Yeah.
right?
But there's something to be said for just letting your passion run riot. Like, I mean, it would be super cool if you could get a videographer job,
Oh, it'll
but
never
there's
happen.
I know it probably won't. So
I
let's
can't
let's make
sit.
lemons out of lemonade. So
Yeah.
let's make lemons out of lemonade. If you got the videographer job, you'd be doing what you enjoy most in the world, but doing it for money and not really doing it in terms of your own
Right.
creativity, right? Now you're
Yeah.
just like blossoming and you're just doing like
Aw.
all this stuff. It's beautiful. I love
You're
what you
absolutely
do.
right,
I'm a
Jennifer.
huge fan of yours.
Boy, that's cool. Well, all
Yeah.
right. Let's give me I get it tonight, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I get the environmental coffee house flush of the day. Flush of the week, if you can hear it. Let's see. All right. There we go. Yay, that's our way of saying things are good.
There you
And
go.
yeah, how's my audio, guys? Because I had to. God damn it! Now it's on the red. But we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this video, and I just want to make sure that I am not over modulated. That's what happens, and it's hard to judge. I see the red line, but technical stuff, guys. All right. Well, everybody's joining us. Hi, Chuck. Kim, thank you, Kim. Kim is our greatest mod ever. We are so
I love
lucky to
Kim.
have. Yeah, me too. Me too. And
We're
thanks to.
very lucky. We're
Uh
lucky in
oh.
our crowd of
Now he
people.
says, all right. I guess I'm having audio issues, but
What?
I'm trying my hardest to get it to be right. Hoople's cat's helping me out there. My
Is he?
fellow, yeah, Canadian. He has that wonderful channel. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, good. As long as everybody's happy, we have something to show you to start with before we get into all these articles. It's not a big deal. It's just a little thing I threw together for us to watch. Okay, just your audio visual pleasure.
Unlike fossil fuels such as coal, generating electricity from renewable sources like solar power creates no emissions that are harmful to human health and the environment. However, solar farms also pose real environmental challenges, including habitat degradation and harm to wildlife. Reduced emissions. About 70% of electrical power in the U.S. came from fossil fuel like coal, natural gas, and petroleum. That's as of 2010. The statistics may have gone up a bit by now, 2021. Burning these substances releases chemicals into the atmosphere, including greenhouse gases. We all know drives climate change. So there's a harm, though, to wildlife. In order to protect a significant amount of electrical energy, solar farms require large tracts of land. Western states like California have deserts with abundant space and sunshine, but these areas are also natural habitats that support wildlife. For example, environmental reports underestimated the number of desert tortoises that would be displaced by the Ivanpah solar generating system in California's Mojave Desert. The same solar farm also came under scrutiny when an increasing number of birds were reported on its premises. Many of their wings had been melted or burned off by the heat from solar farms' mirrors. And the habitat degradation. The impact that solar farms have on individual species can send ripples throughout entire ecosystems. For example, animals like burrowing owls in California's Mojave Desert rely on burrows dug by desert tortoises for shelter. When solar farms harm or remove species within the habitat, they also remove the valuable ecosystem services that they provide to that habitat. So the habitat then becomes less livable for plants and wildlife that have adapted to its specific conditions. And there is that environmental debate. The controversy surrounding these solar projects has caused division among a lot of greenies. Renewable energy development and the reduction of greenhouse gases are so important, but the goals might interfere with conservation of habitat and species diversity. These stances offer valid environmental arguments both for and against solar power farms. There may not be the perfect answer, but it's important to look at both views.
All right, so we had our little schooling in solar farms and got to see what a lot of them look like. They are
Huge.
they're huge and they're ugly. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going to say that I prefer solar. And if you're going to use solar, get it on your house. Personal solar. That's the way I feel. So anyway. All right, Jen. So, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get started because we have this research and it's good research and we really do want to share it with you. So, Jen, I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah.
This article we found from Inverse is pretty good and we liked it. We definitely liked it. And here we go.
Yeah.
Get us a little closer.
Yeah. So deep dive into the Sahara and the self-reinforcing feedbacks maybe of large solar panels, large solar panel farms. So in the forbidding deserts, these are actually the best places on Earth for harvesting solar panel. It's the place where it's most abundant. There's a clean source of energy, and deserts are spacious, flat, and rich in silicon. And this is actually the same material, more by and large, that semiconductors use for solar cells. So the 10 largest solar plants around the world are all located in deserts and dry regions. And I just want to tell you, Sandy, about a little experience I had just 2 years ago. I was going to California to do some family business. And I, between California and Colorado, there's Nevada. And I think this was probably Nevada, but our plane flew directly over one of those really round ones with, thousands of little mirrors all going up. Right?
Yeah.
And I just about got blinded. I was like, what is that thing? It looks so weird, just hanging. It was absolutely huge, hanging out there. And the more I looked at it, I was like, it was like burning my eyeballs out, just even glancing at it. They're incredibly powerful.
Can you imagine what that looks like from the space shuttle? Those guys up there looking at oh my gosh. It is really incredible, the things that we do, and really how what we do destroys everything, basically. I don't mean to laugh. It's pretty pathetic.
I know.
Pretty pathetic. All right, well.
There are a lot of things we can say about that. Too much.
Yes, too much. Absolutely. Too much.
So what they're doing right now is there are a huge number of solar projects going directly in the Sahara, and they're turning big swaths of the Sahara into a giant solar farm. They're trying to put as many solar panels out there that'll meet 4 times the current energy demand. Yeah. And they're actually already underway in Tunisia and Morocco. This particular article in inverse.com, it has a lot of links within
Yes, it
this
does.
article.
And this was the research came from geophysical research letters. This
Oh,
is what
yeah?
I'm showing on the screen now that they use. There's two different studies. The one you sent me, and then this one. This is they're all different authors. Impacts of the large scale Sahara solar farms on global climate and vegetation cover, which
Yeah.
is what we're reading about. And then
Very
science, which is
interesting.
climate model, shows large scale wind and solar farms in the Sahara increase rain and vegetation. So is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. But let's go on.
It is a thing. It's a thing of a thing.
It's a
So
thing. Do what
the
you want to
big thing
do.
about this is like when you basically carpet large swaths of the Sahara that previously had kind of been white, very kind of light brown color, especially out in
Yeah.
the desert, to black. So you're basically taking a huge amount of thing and it used to be white and you're turning it black. Well, we all know what that's all about, right? That's the albedo. So
Albedo.
what's the what's the effect of turning these vast swaths of land black? And there's a couple of different effects, as we would expect. There's no simple answer anywhere. But let's just kind of set the facts straight. And only a fraction of that incoming energy gets converted into electricity, about 15%, right? So the rest of it is actually returned to the environment as heat,
Heat.
right?
Yep, there it is.
Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Heat.
Heat. How is
So-
that good?
Well,
I'm sorry.
I mean, so basically, we know the panels are much darker than the ground they cover. So a vast expanse of solar cells will absorb a lot of additional energy and emit it off as heat. Not what we were looking for, affecting the climate. So they're trying to determine if these effects are local or if they are affecting bigger than the local area. And it really
Right.
depends on the scale of the installations. But the bigger installations, covering thousands of square kilometers. This is not your uncle's solar farm,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
This
showing
is
one from Energy Post.
thousands of square kilometers. And this heat is re-emitted from the size that would be redistributed by the flow of air in the atmosphere, having regional and even global effects on the climate. So we were actually net, we were trying to reduce our heat. That's why we got into solar. We got
Yeah.
into solar because carbon dioxide was trapping too much heat. That's a bad thing. Well, that was one of the reasons, right? So now we find that solar is actually emitting heat, and for a different reason, but it's heat nonetheless. Whether it's heat from carbon dioxide or heat from solar, it's still the same result.
That's what our audience is saying. But, well, yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to
Yeah.
be downers, guys. We're reading the research.
No.
We're reading the science. We're
No.
not saying,
Just-
okay, don't do this, although we prefer what we prefer. We are not trying to be
Right.
horribly negative, although who
No.
likes this?
This is just physics and chemistry. This
There
is
you go.
not like a judgment. This is
No.
just science. This is just science.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, those of us who are interested in feedback loops, and there's probably one or two people on this
Yep.
call that are interested in
Oh,
feedback
yeah.
loops.
Dan just said civilization
So
is a
what they have
heat
discovered
engine.
is that when the size of the solar farm reaches 20% of the total area of the Sahara, so you can see how serious they are about giant solar farms, right? It triggers a feedback loop because all of a sudden you've got something that's, huge. I mean, absolutely huge. So the
Huge.
heat emitted by the darker solar panels, because there's a couple of different or I guess as opposed to the highly reflective desert soil, right?
Right.
Creates steep temperature difference between land and the surrounding oceans. And this ultimately lowers the surface air pressure. This actually has such an effect that not only does it emit a huge amount of heat, it actually lowers the surface air pressure. And get this actually causes moist air to rise and condense into raindrops. So not only is it hot, but it's rainy. These solar farms are creating rain. It's wild, right? So plants grow in the with more monsoon rainfall. These plants grow, and the desert reflects less of the sun's energy, since vegetation itself also absorbs light better. So you are just definitely changing the nature of the albedo of the desert, and I think it's actually really good. They can actually green up the Sahara, but make it really hot at the same time, right?
But that will
Because
affect the Arctic.
Well, if you get it big enough, sure, right? Then you get into global effects, because you're not talking about, a couple of solar panels on somebody's roof,
No. No, and some of these are they're talking about, there was one that said, the size of this thing in the Sahara, it could power the whole world. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're trying to. I was looking at the Tunisian plans, and they're doing an export sort of thing, and they're exporting to the places that are closest to Tunisia. If I remember, they were exporting to Sicily, southern Italy, and Corsica, I think it was, or Sardinia. Anyway, they're kind of exporting their energy with these massive, because one thing Tunisia has a load of is desert and sun, right? And not much humidity until now, right?
Yeah.
So this is a huge, human beings are the biggest geoengineering project ever to hit the planet. I mean, that's clear, right?
Aren't we?
But this thing in itself, because it's so huge, this could actually change the humidity over a whole swath of North Africa, right?
That's what
And and they're actually talking about changing the nature of the Sahara, and this is the greening of the Sahara. And the Sahara was green 5,000 years ago, over 5,000 years ago. This was the African humid period, and that just ended 5,000 years ago. So what they're saying is, if they get enough solar farms going, with all these countries, all these desert countries jumping into major solar projects, it's actually going to change the nature of North Africa, period, right? The Sahara. And
here we go again.
Amazing.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Right? It's this, right. But it is huge, and it's not going to not happen. These things are they're going to happen. So we're going to read about them, and we're going to tell you about them, because they are happening. And if you go into, besides just the research, you go into, Jennifer, you know what I'm going to pull up? Just for a second there. I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to jump ahead to the World Bank, because of course they're all into it. The World Bank is saying that solar radiation is essentially a free resource available anywhere on Earth. So that first sentence, free. It's the World Bank. Nothing is free, guys. Nothing is
the World
free.
Bank wants to lend everybody money. It's this whole scheme all over again. And I just want to illustrate how big of a temperature rise this thing is. It's non-trivial. So what they're talking about, you know how huge the Sahara is. It's almost the size of a continent, North Africa, right? Huge. So they're talking about covering 20% of the Sahara with solar farms. This would raise the temperature in the desert right around there by 1.5 degrees immediately, just like that. Just pure radiation at 50% coverage, because 20% coverage wasn't destructive enough. We have to go full hog on this thing and just really do it. So at 50% coverage, the temperature is increased in the desert by 2.5 degrees, right? And so it doesn't stay there in the desert, right? It doesn't just say,
No.
oh, well, I was made in the desert, I'm going to
Yeah.
stay in the desert. No, this warming is spread all around the globe by atmosphere and ocean movement. And
You're right.
basically, if you cover 20% of the Sahara with solar farms, which is what they're thinking of doing, this would actually spread out to raise the world temperature by between 1.16 degrees, so a tenth, so 0.16 degrees Celsius for 20% coverage, and 0.39 degrees, that's a almost 0.4
Damn,
degrees
Jen.
for 50% coverage. Are these people insane, right?
Well, but are they in the building process? There were some things I found.
Oh no, that's already going. I
It's
checked out
going.
the
Yeah.
Morocco plans,
Yeah,
and
it is.
they're going full throttle. They're trying to cover Morocco with solar panels
Okay. So
because it's free energy, I guess. Hey, good
but is
idea.
this
So
part, this drought in the Amazon, cyclones in Vietnam, did you get to this yet? This part of this
no, I
talk? Okay.
didn't.
All right. I just want to make sure where we are. We're getting ahead of ourselves because this is not a lot of people are just saying, well, talking about this stuff. This research is here.
Yeah.
It's happening. And if it's not in your backyard, sometimes you just don't even know. You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. And you asked about how this would affect the Arctic, Sandy.
Yeah.
The global temperature is not uniform. The polar regions, just where you want to put that heat, right, would warm up more than the tropics, increasing ice loss in the Arctic. And we're already well on our way to a blue ocean event. All these little solar panels are just going to add that much more heat into the system. And this will further accelerate warming as melting of sea ice exposes dark water, which absorbs more solar energy, and on and on and on we go.
On and on.
Yeah,
Well,
we're an insane species. Yeah, that's the definition of humans.
Yeah.
Homo gargantuous.
Well,
not Homo sapien.
And what we were listening, it's not. It's well, we're going to get to that, what we are doing and listening to about overshoot, but it's certainly not Homo sapien anymore. Homo colossus.
No.
Homo colossus.
Yeah, Homo colossus. That's right,
Yep.
Sandy. Homo colossus.
Yep, because we colossify everything. Jesus.
Yeah.
And we're not making light.
So,
it's just
no,
it is what it is.
No, this is science. This is science.
Yep.
But there's more. We're not done yet. Truckers, you're not down yet.
No,
so for the Amazon region, what could the effects of this big giant 20% of the Sahara and solar farm? So for the Amazon region, this causes droughts, actually. Not what you want in the Amazon, as less moisture arrives from the ocean. So the same amount of additional rainfall that falls over the Sahara due to surface darkening effects of solar panels is lost from the Amazon. And the Amazon's already going into drought and burning down and having all kinds of problems due to deforestation. So that's what the model predicts when they start, running the numbers. And it also predicts one more thing that they didn't count on. It predicts that more frequent tropical cyclones are hitting North America and East Asian coast. So
we have so much to look forward
and
to.
tropical cyclones will increase with these huge solar farms in the Sahara.
Lovely.
Right?
Just lovely.
It's amazing.
So we have much more to look forward to. Wait a minute. Let's see a comment by Hoops. Trees versus panels, no contest. Let's hack the trees down and cover the land with plastic panels to power our cars and cities and eventually oxygen factories. I had to put that one up, Jen. That was
He's
a
right.
good one. He's right. He's completely right. He is. But
well, he's not even joking about the oxygen factories, because one thing we haven't talked about on this show ever, hardly, I don't think, is the oxygen cycle and what is happening with the oxygen cycle year after year after year after year. And you know how, the Mauna Loa carbon dioxide
Mm-hmm.
measurements that started in 1958, right? And they
Right,
started,
1958.
and then you can see it's exponential, right? That's called the frickin' hockey stick, Michael Mann. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Okay. And so I said I wasn't
We're
going to
so
talk about
bad.
this man
We're so
anymore.
bad. Oh,
The
but if you
man,
saw
the
the
man who's
comments,
driving me crazy.
well, see the
Right. The man
comments in
who's
our last
driving me
show.
crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it
Oh
is. I'm
God.
so sorry, Jennifer. I don't want
I
you to
am
be
so
crazy.
sorry too. So the point of it is we're only beginning to understand the potential consequences of establishing massive solar
Massive.
farms, talking about 20% of the Sahara. So solutions like this may help society transition from fossil energy, but it's basically an unregulated experiment, you know. So we have to consider the responses that are going to happen in the atmosphere, the ocean, the land surface when examining the benefits and the risks. So it's more complicated than previously thought, but not surprising at all when you think it through, right? You would expect this. So you will get all kinds of downstream consequences again.
Oh boy. Can I read this comment?
Again.
This it falls right in with it.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
But this is our
Yeah.
friend Susan. Susan, I'm going to put you up
Yeah.
with your horse so I can try to read this. Uh oh boy, it's a big one. Wow. But it's pertinent. They've been trying to build a
Yeah.
large solar installation around my property in the Catskills. And how come I can't add it to the broadcast still? And it is surrounded by protected wetlands, and it's the headwaters of the Susquehanna, which a large number of people in Pennsylvania get their drinking water. Plans were to use chemical defoliants, i.e., Agent Orange, to keep the grass and weed overgrowth down. The land has been tested and it is the worst grade of soil quality there is for runoff. Cadmium and other heavy metals will leach into the soil and therefore the water as the panels degrade. My well is 110 feet down from the site, and the sun hardly shines here. The location is terrible, but the town has dollar signs in their eyes for revenue, even though they have no idea what it will be. And she's saying, not in my backyard. And Susan is my friend, personal friend.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Horrible.
and
Horrible.
it is,
Horrible.
and you know that area, Jennifer, of the Catskills, a lot of
Yeah.
dumping, a lot of illegal dumping went on when Hurricane Sandy happened. And it happened because they had a wink and a nod. They had to take the shit out of the city. They dumped it. I've
Yeah.
had Stella Martin, who is an activist. She came to my house, my party. I've interviewed. She was like in the beginning with us on Environmental
Yeah.
Coffee House. She had cadmium poisoning. Their house was condemned. They had to leave. So it's like no matter what happens, there's always some shitty effect to the ecosystem, and that
Yeah.
and it hurt her and her family. Stella, thanks,
It's
Susan.
so sad that we're so short-sighted, and we think we found the next silver bullet, the next solution. It's solar now. It's going to solve all our problems. Get off of
It's gonna
oil,
solve all
just
our
do solar.
problems.
All of a sudden, oops, I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to make my environment hotter. I was doing it to make my environment cooler. Well, it's not. It's really
No,
not.
and this stuff that we pulled up here, they are there is a global solar atlas here, and anywhere you live, you can put
Oh,
in
really?
the information about where you live and get exactly what the kind of map data it show you per year or per day, the kind of power you would get out of solar. It's like, because
Yeah.
people, I suppose people that aren't just saying, okay, I'm going to call a company and we're just going to pick this, and okay, we want this, that really look into this. This is helpful. this is helpful stuff. It shows to see the Great Lakes. It's a very intricate website,
Yeah.
and I found it. And of course, I put in for small residential here, and for me, I don't know if it would be a good thing for me or not, since my power is so cheap, and it's all 90, what is it, 98, 99%, and I say this all the time, hydro from Niagara Falls, and the rest is nuclear, which I don't like, but we are carbon free in my town,
Yeah.
But that's interesting, because all these maps are up, and then of course the government, the United States government, they have their site, the EIA, U.S. Energy Information. I wanted to ask you about that, Jen. You think it's been updated since Herr Trump left office?
Herr Trump. Yeah. Well, they're basically having to put together the entire, government and, everything all over again, because he just shattered everything. Environmental Protection Agency, didn't have the word climate change. Just everything about it.
Oops.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if this website,
that,
this Solar Explained website is from the government, and it has solar energy in the environment, and they say they do not produce the air pollution or the greenhouse gases using solar energy. Can have a positive indirect effect on the environment when solar energy replaces or reduces the use of other energy sources. But again, however, and this is the website, the United States, so we don't know exactly when it's been updated. I'll have to look. But some toxic materials and chemicals are used to make them that can convert sunlight into electricity. Some solar thermal systems use potentially hazardous fluids to transfer heat. Leaks of the materials can be harmful. That's why they have U.S. environmental laws to regulate. But let's see. Oh, it was updated September 23rd, 2020. So it's not updated. Now, I'd be interested to know, because it has a negative spin here. I would be interested to know the update once this administration gets a hold of it. What kind of update are they going to do, since this is the new, this is the Green New Deal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't be
And
telling people that
there
there's
are no
something-
the problem is, guys, it's so depressing that there are no silver bullets. We think we found the greatest thing since anything, it's going to solve all our problems, and just makes our problems worse, and then we're like, oh shit.
Oh, it ain't gonna happen.
So I want to address something. It's not just like the solar panels themselves, but something that Susan, when you put that big comment up, right? Her and her horse, right?
Thank you.
The Roundup issue, Agent Orange, Monsanto, used to be owned by Dow Chemical prior to Monsanto, but basically that was the. So I do have just a little vignette to tell you, if you will indulge me, about Roundup and Dow Chemical.
We're indulging you.
I grew up in Southeast Asia, in Laos, in the 60s and the 70s, right? I left in 72. But my dad was a program manager there for the Agency for International Development. And one of his projects was building a dam. And yes, guys, I know dams are hugely, destructive to the environment. But that was his project. The point of it is there was like 500 square miles of virgin jungle in Laos, in Southeast Asia, that was going to become the basin of where the water was all going to go, right? And my dad was told by the US government to basically hose the whole thing down, 500 square miles, with Agent Orange. And my dad did all this duplicity, and you're muted, by the way, Sandy. And my dad did all this duplicity.
You're glad I'm muted.
I'm
my God.
He basically played. He was told to defoliate 500 square miles of virgin rainforest. Yeah, all the creatures in there and the water. Well, he didn't do it, but he didn't do it because he just kept delaying and playing games and saying the contract's not ready or couldn't do it. And, he basically faked out the US government, and then he filled the
Wow.
basin up and just as it was without putting any Agent Orange in there. And he probably saved how many people from birth defects and animals that didn't get,
That's
gassed with
amazing.
this Agent Orange. Yeah, no, he was a
Shit.
real hero,
Thank
a
you for
true
sharing
a
that.
true secret hero in a
My dad.
very little known episode of American history called the Secret War in
Wow.
Laos that was actually
Yeah.
in conjunction with the Vietnam War. So I've always been extremely proud of my dad for
That's
doing
great to
that because
share.
he really took a huge risk. He could have gotten fired. He had two small children.
Oh my
He was a
God.
young guy. I mean, he was really sweating it, and he just one man changed the ecological fate of that 500 square mile
Oh,
and all the downstream, right? Because it would all run
yeah.
off. So when Susan says about the Roundup going to be used over by those solar panels, I'm
Mm,
just like triggered like crazy because they
mm.
already know that Roundup causes lymphoma among 100 other things, but it's really bad and it can cause lymphoma. And it's just like things like that
Insane.
just drive me crazy. They really do. They really drive me
How
crazy.
could
And you
this
can get cancer. You can get all kinds of cancer from Agent Orange. Why would they put that on the land next to her? Just to keep the vegetation down. Do you see how crazy we are? Do you
right?
see how
Crazy.
absolutely insane? I mean, just
Insane.
fucking insane,
Well, if they're
right?
talking about jobs, don't use the pesticide. Hire fucking people to keep the fucking shit down. Then excuse my language. It's one of
Yeah.
those nights. Hire people, but they're too lazy. Nobody's going to want to pick weeds.
Yeah.
Susan said,
Yeah.
kudos to your father, Jennifer, for doing the right thing. He saved a lot of lives. Yeah, that is an
Yeah.
amazing story, Jennifer. I mean, really amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you. And hi, everybody out there. Just saying hi to Honey Bunny and Poppy Davis is with us. And Rich
Hi,
Diana. And
Poppy.
hi,
I hope that
Warren.
Poppy has. I hope Poppy has
Recovered.
power and everything is good for her. I saw your live stream with Poppy.
Yeah, she's
My heart
sweet.
goes out to you, Poppy. Yeah.
Sweetheart Poppy. We love you, Poppy. Hi, John D. What did you say? He said Thailand and Kampuchea would be quite annoyed with that. I think Thailand was particularly opposed to dam building on the Mekong tributaries.
Hmm.
Thank you,
Yeah.
John.
This was one of the Mekong tributaries. It definitely was.
I
If
remember
anybody
that.
ever cares to look it up, this was the first hydro project in Laos, and it was called the Nam Num Dam.
Wow. Oh, I wish I
Yeah.
I wish I looked it up. Oh shit. I wish I
No,
had,
it's okay.
pulled it up before this. Well, we
Yeah.
really got some mileage here tonight of learning and looking and seeing what's going on, and it's not just it's I don't know, Jen. It's overwhelming. And
It is.
like this shows again the energy post in the EU talking about all of these things
Yeah.
that can
Don't worry,
happen.
guys. All the
Yeah.
world's energy is going to be provided by 10,000 square
Yeah.
kilometers of
It
solar.
says
Don't worry, no
the
side
demographic.
effects.
No, but it says they're going to use. Look at this. It's exactly what you're saying. The demographic, climate, and geographical conditions of the MENA region confer it with significant natural advantages for development of large-scale renewable energy projects. Low population density in countries such as Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and Oman. Sunlight, high direct normal irradiance, DNI, and cheap low value land, particular in desert landscapes. So low value land. Do you understand what they're saying? It's that the species that live there, the ecosystems are low value. And that's what this is. This is what these corporations do. The whole freaking world is is owned by corporations. Low
Oh, yes,
value. Ain't that something?
definitely.
Low value. And it was groundbreaking work. We have to look at this. Dr. D. McKay, sustainable energy without hot air. So we'll have to look at some of his stuff. That's what gets
Yeah.
me when they say that low value land. So it's just human centric. We are everything. Let's just destroy, destroy, destroy.
And
It's exactly how
actually,
I
while
feel.
you're in the middle of putting all those solar panels, just go ahead and coat the whole thing with Roundup and Agent Orange and have
Yeah.
it with a cherry on top. I mean, how stupid are we, Sandy? I just wonder how we can
We are.
survive as a species being so stupid. And you know what the answer is?
We aren't. We are not. We are
We won't.
not. But of course, we don't prognosticate on this channel. We just talk about how it just seems so absurd. Everything is the theater of absurd. Honestly, the people can say, "Oh, we are just going to move on to this next thing," but it doesn't matter. We are going to kill everything and take it with ourselves. It just doesn't matter. But it does matter because, of course, we are not inactivists. And we are not sitting here saying, well, give up, guys. Just say, fuck it. You're fucked. Because there's every day. We have every day to live. Every day you can fulfill yourself, regardless of all the crazy shit going on that we have no
Yeah, that's
control
right.
over,
That's right.
basically.
There's no sense getting, depressed about it. Yes, it's depressing, but
Yeah,
it's
it
going to
is.
happen. It's going to happen. It's so much bigger than all of us. We couldn't even affect this we want to affect it, but it's very difficult to because there's so much freaking momentum in all the bad decisions of our civilization. And you know what I've been thinking, Sandy,
Yeah,
because it's
Jen.
just been like, you and I are embarked on a quest right now as of
Yes, we are.
today or yesterday.
Yep.
We're reading a book called Overshoot. We're kind
Yep.
of both reading it and getting all teched up, and it's no one person's fault. It's 1,000 decisions of civilization that are bringing this to pass, plus the freaking population keeps going up and the weight of civilization keeps getting heavier, and it's non-sustainable. So we're reading the book Overshoot, and although probably somewhat depressing reading,
It is.
it's very, very good. But I'm
It's
listening to
fascinating.
the recording that Michael Dowd has done it, and
Yes, we
y'all
both
can.
are.
Yes, and it's
SoundCloud.
so good.
I'll
I'm
tell you
about
what,
an
guys.
hour into it. It's 13 hours long.
I'll put the link up. And here's my
Yeah,
here's my idea. Sorry, I'm
of his
fiddling with
playlist
everything
for
tonight.
Overshoot.
Yes, and then if you guys listen to it along with
Yeah, we
us,
could all do it
we can.
together.
Yep, and
Actually,
then we can do a show, and all of us
yeah,
together can have a discussion on Overshoot, what it means, what it
yeah,
meant in 1980.
yeah. Right.
Perhaps Michael Dowd will join us. Who knows?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
don't
I'm sure he
know.
will. I'm
Yeah.
sure he
So
will.
so I think there's something to look at. That's all we could all do this together. So we'll put the
Yeah,
links up.
absolutely.
Seriously, put headphones on, clean your house,
Yeah.
whatever you have to do, to
Yeah,
listen if you
I
don't
went
have time to
through it.
read.
I went through an hour and a half of it today, Sandy, and I was just
Me too.
completely, and you can just
Me
easily listen because it's
too.
on SoundCloud.
Yep.
It's so easy to listen to, and it's in 4 different parts on this playlist, and it's well worth a listen. But if anybody wants to participate in our new little book of the month club,
Yeah.
go ahead and listen to Overshoot with us,
Yeah,
and we'll
with
all kind
us.
of, if you like looking at that sort of stuff, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the thing is, this was written in 1980. That's
Yes.
41 years ago. We were alive.
Yes.
Some of you
Yes.
may not have been. And the whole thing
Right.
is that it makes so much, you listen to this, it's like they fucking knew. They knew this. Everybody knew this, and it didn't matter. They went ahead and destroyed everything anyway. But you know what? I'm not just listen. You listen to the book, and listen to
Yeah.
how Michael how he narrates.
So
His narration is
conscious.
great. Yeah, his narration is
Yeah.
great. So anyway, hi
So
Jilly
good.
Love. Oh, Valhalla 56 is with us, and Osama is with us, and Kevin. What's the link? It'll be in the show notes. Kev, I can't. I
Yeah.
don't have it now unless, and I don't know if Kim can pull it up, and we're not going to stand
Yeah.
here and pull it up, but it'll be in the show notes, and so you can do that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Download SoundCloud if you don't have it. I'm not giving sound. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I can tell
if
you guys right now, if you want the link, go to soundcloud.com/Michael-Dowd-Grace-Limits/sets. And in the sets, which is basically all of his playlists, at the very bottom is Overshoot. And it's basically William R. Catton, William R. Catton Jr. is the author of Overshoot, and it's got a yellow cover. It's such a good, and it was written 40 years ago. I can't believe how prescient it is. It's like it was written yesterday, and with so much conviction and clarity. So it's well worth a read. If you want to listen along with us, please join us.
Absolutely. So where do you want to go? We're almost an hour. I can't believe this conversation was so good. Everybody out there, again, this is the science. This is what is happening, potential. And, believe me, these countries will do this. They will do this because
they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They're already doing it.
There you go.
And
Rich says overshoot equals degrowth. You mean naturally it's going to happen.
Yeah. We're going to overshoot. We've overshot ourselves. So we're going to degrowth ourselves, like it or not. It'll be involuntary degrowth, which is not comfortable. It'll be bad.
God, we sound like the doomiest doomers tonight, but you know what? I'll tell you what. I feel a little different. I'm not gonna shun and run away from the fact that I see this bigger picture. I'm going to embrace it, as we talked yesterday, Jen. But we have a surprise, guys. We're not going to tell you yet. And it's like we're here. We're going to live every day to the fullest, like I say. And even if it's a menial something you have to do in your house, you're alive, you're feeling yourself. Yes, we've been through traumatic weather events. Poppy's been through, people all over the world. It was snowing, and what are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, I'm going to do what Jem Bandel says. I'm going to adapt for however long I have and bring the younger people along with us. Can't just be a bunch of old people that say, all right, we're going to kick off in 20 years or less or 10, whenever we go. It's the young people. And they, and a lot of them are angry at us. Jennifer, boomers or whatever they call it, they're angry at us. And yet we look at
they have reason to be, but it's not like it's any one person's fault.
Right.
It's civilization,
like you said, 1,000 decisions.
It's 1,000 little decisions. Therefore, it's the resulting mass consciousness to do everything. And that all kind of comes out of who we are as a species. And I don't want to say it's just because we're greedy. We are. But it's not just because we're short-sighted. We are. But it's a lot of things that causes all this to happen. And it just results in human civilization.
Right. Oh my God.
Sad
listen,
but true.
Guys, it's time to put up our little banner. We work hard at this show. When we have some good stuff coming up for you. And I'm not going to tip my hand yet. We'll see. We have an interview with someone very special. I just don't want to say yet. You'll see it when we put it up, and we'll build momentum, because it really was great. And Jennifer, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Just try not to get too depressed by all this reality that's raining upon our head. I love diving into this climate science and all the causes and effects and feedbacks as much as pretty much anybody. But, girls got to just sit down and watch Netflix sometime. I mean, I can't take it anymore. It's just like way too doomy. I just need something completely completely outlandish to
Yeah.
watch, to just wash it all away, because I just basically, I mean, it's too much to hold in your poor little brain, you know?
Right. Okay, Raza, how can we save our common humanity if we do not recognize and embrace our common humanity?
Well,
Actually,
there you
yeah, he's
go.
right.
It's so
He's right.
profound. I love Raza E.
Val,
Warrior so
no
much. I just
no
love him.
radiation protection, sterile soil, but on the good side, there is 1/8 of Earth gravity, and oh yeah, you will be okay. You're talking. This is interesting. We'll have to look at Val's thought process here. Val is always the person that
All
comments
right.
about AI taking over, and that's the only reason.
Oh, okay.
Take away humanity's decision making
Yeah.
processes and give it to
It'll be like
computers.
a combination of Mad Max and Terminator all pushed together. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think
Not.
so. Not.
Not.
Hoop said he's going to live on Mars with Elon Musk.
Good. Save me a space,
Oh
would
my
you?
gosh. I know, right? All right. Well, guys, listen, I guess let's take a vote. Should I end with the little video? It's 4 minutes, or just say sayonara? We are at 57 minutes. Jennifer, I think we'll end with it. What the hell? I put enough work in.
Yeah,
It,
it's a
and it
nice
doesn't take
video.
me
I like it.
that long. It's like I'm just learning again. I'm saying that the audio, doing it in a separate program, it's
Yeah.
kind of neat. Kind of neat. All right,
Well,
guys.
thank you, Sandy. It was great
Yes,
to spend this time
everyone.
with you tonight.
Yep. And don't forget, if you want solar panels, get them on your roof. Try not to, want the power from a big farm. Get them on your roof. Personal responsibility. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It sounded good. All right. Peace out. We love
Peace out.
you. We love you. We love you. All right.
Unlike fossil fuels such as coal, generating electricity from renewable sources like solar power creates no emissions that are harmful to human health and the environment. However, solar farms also pose real environmental challenges, including habitat degradation and harm to wildlife. Reduced emissions. About 70% of electrical power in the U.S. came from fossil fuel like coal, natural gas, and petroleum. That's as of 2010. The statistics may have gone up a bit by now, 2021. Burning these substances releases chemicals into the atmosphere, including greenhouse gases. We all know drives climate change. So there's a harm, though, to wildlife. In order to protect a significant amount of electrical energy, solar farms require large tracts of land. Western states like California have deserts with abundant space and sunshine, but these areas are also natural habitats that support wildlife. For example, environmental reports underestimated the number of desert tortoises that would be displaced by the Ivanpah solar generating system in California's Mojave Desert. The same solar farm also came under scrutiny when an increasing number of birds were reported on its premises. Many of their wings had been melted or burned off by the heat from solar farms' mirrors. And the habitat degradation. The impact that solar farms have on individual species can send ripples throughout entire ecosystems. For example, animals like burrowing owls in California's Mojave Desert rely on burrows dug by desert tortoises for shelter. When solar farms harm or remove species within the habitat, they also remove the valuable ecosystem services that they provide to that habitat. So the habitat then becomes less livable for plants and wildlife that have adapted to its specific conditions. And there is that environmental debate. The controversy surrounding these solar projects has caused division among a lot of greenies. Renewable energy development and the reduction of greenhouse gases are so important. But the goals might interfere with conservation of habitat and species diversity. These stances offer valid environmental arguments both for and against solar power farms. There may not be the perfect answer, but it's important to look at both views.